Recording in progress.
Yay! Because that way the recording is actually working and I don't have to worry. Let me move that. Worry about it. Okay. I am so glad that you two could be here live. I know we're going to pick up a couple other people because I just got off a call with somebody else and they said that we're going to jump on. But whoever shows up, I really trust that it is the exact right people in the exact right place. What we're going to do today is we're going to really talk about performance and how to go from performance to a grounded presence. And the reason that we're going to do that is twofold. First, and I think most importantly, when we can move out of that performance mode, we calm our nervous systems. And we're going to talk about why performance is usually a slightly activated nervous system, why we have been raised and conditioned to be in that hyper performance mode. And what it does is it disconnects us from the joy of the moment. And I know you two both have kind of some different stress from each other, some different stuff going on. Doesn't matter what the stress is around the holidays. Whenever we're in performance mode, it's an attempt to bypass some of that pain. And sometimes it's okay to bypass pain because we have grandkids in front of us, or you know what I mean? Like we're in the middle of an event that we need to get through. But it's also really important to give our nervous systems and our hearts time to anchor, to process what is versus what we wish were going on, and to let ourselves have the chance to feel. And it might sound contradictory, but sometimes when we allow ourselves to feel some of the anger, grief, rage, disappointment, frustration, whatever it is, that can unlock the feelings of joy, the feelings of presence, the feelings of gratitude and connection. So that's why we're doing it. Ultimately, it's in service of feeling better and feeling happier at the end of the day. So what I want to start is by teaching you how to do a heart hug. And I love doing a heart hug. You just take your hands, you can just do both, and you put it on your heart. And what you do is, as slowly as you can, move the skin around in a circle and breathe. And after you've done it about 5 rotations one direction, switch and do it the other way. And I'm going to be quiet. And I want you to just feel what's going on in that area of your body. And what tends to happen is at some point when you're focusing, your breath changes and you go from like focusing to a. And when that happens, that is a release of anxiety. That's a release of just that tension of living. So whatever it is you're going through, whatever is happening, whether you're consciously aware that I'm feeling stress and anxiety, or whether there's just a lot going on, if you can do that heart hug and just focus until you get that breath, that'll reset your nervous system. And how long did that take? Like a minute?
Yeah.
So that's a really simple way to start and to reset. And that's even something you can use, you know, when you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, life is amazing. And then you're like, oh, and all these memories flood in and you're like, shit, shit. Why am I? That's a good way to just even reset that day. Because that's one of the things with trauma, drama, pain, anxiety, whatever, we get locked in, and this is a way to unlock us. Okay? So I want you to start by identifying for yourself what your intention is through this season. Whether it's through New Year's or, the end of January, like whatever. What is your intention for this season? And I want you to be honest with yourself. It might be, all I really want to do is survive this season. And it might be, you know what? I want to drop into some moments of presence. I want to drop into some moments of connection. I really want just to feel a little gratitude. What is it that you really desire the most for this season? And as it kind of comes up, I don't expect you to be like, aha, I got it. Let me just write that down. But we're going to keep returning to that today, because by the end of our time together, I want you to have a clear intention of what you want this season to be like in terms of how you feel. And sometimes that means, what am I going to set down? And sometimes it means, what am I going to lean into? And sometimes it's kind of a combination of both. I know I get really locked into the way things should be or look. The house has to be cleaned. I really need the decorations to be good. Oh my God, I didn't have time to dye my hair and I look awful. And it's like, I get this big focus on all the external things. Like, my mom used to coordinate all the wrapping paper. Like, the Santa presents were these colors, the family presents were these colors, the guy presents were this, and it was beautiful, but it put on me an expectation that wasn't mine. Like, does Laura really care if the wrapping paper is coordinated? Lora thinks wrapping is actually dumb because it's a huge waste of paper and you put it on and you shred it off. Like, I think that's dumb. But the expectation of having this beautiful tree with coordinated wrapping paper is also something that I hold. So when over here, I think, well, that's a lot of wasted paper and that's a lot of wasted effort, and I really suck at wrapping anyway. And then I have, but this is my idea of what Christmas morning should look like. That's when I get that cognitive dissonance in my brain. I want this and I want this. It's not working. It's not working. So part of finding peace during the holiday season, as well as other times, is coming to terms with some of that cognitive dissonance and being like, oh, I can't have it both ways. So where am I going to choose to be? I might choose to have the coordinated wrapping paper and to make it amazing. And if I choose that, then I can't sit here when I'm on the floor wrapping and bitch about it. I have to be aware this was my choice. I am choosing to do this because I want the end result. I might hate it in the moment, but I want the end result. And then make peace with my decision. Or I'm going to choose to not wrap it. I'm going to get markers and make squigglies on the boxes. Or I'm just going to use plain old paper or whatever and stick bows on it. And then I'm going to make peace with the fact that this is what my tree looks like. So when you decide where you're at and then you line up with that decision, that's where you can create that peace. Because tell me that I'm not alone. Like, I always want it both ways. I want this designer looking Christmas tree, but I don't want to do what it takes to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I fight myself and I argue with myself and I'm pissed off at myself. Yeah. So what about you two? Where are some of those expectations are showing up? Where are some of those expectations showing up in your life? Like, it should be whatever it is. this happy family meal when in reality, no, it's not. Or it should look like this, but really it doesn't. Or I should be twinkling and sparkling and dancing through the season, but in reality I'm exhausted and my throat hurts.
Well, like I had my oldest daughter here with my granddaughter this whole past week,
Yeah.
and I was uh, so excited for everybody to be together because I love when the whole family's together, and I have three daughters, and we were all together, which was nice for Thanksgiving at my youngest daughter's house, because I didn't have to do anything but make one dish she assigned me. And
Nice.
that was a big relief for me this year because I made a boundary after what happened. I told my children, they're grown adults, that I'm done making holidays. I'm done.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you have to invite me. And you can. I I can choose whether to go or not go, but I'm done with the holidays. If I don't have a place to go, that's fine. I'll
Yeah.
be fine by myself or with, doing whatever it is. So I was actually really proud of myself because there was one thing that came up. I think I told you, Laura, that my youngest daughter is an animator for Sony,
Yes.
and she finished another movie that she wanted the whole family to view on Netflix.
Oh wow.
And so the first viewing was at her house, and she had all this expectation like, we're going to view this, we're going to go out to eat, and mom and dad are going to pay for everybody because um this is their daughter. Meanwhile, she's married. She has a husband now, and she just got married in February. So we spoke about that afterwards, and I said, that's not our obligation anymore. And so this viewing, she said, can we do it at your house? Meanwhile, I'm
You're
moving.
moving.
Um, and I have everything all over the place, which is driving me crazy because I'm a very organized, neat, cleaning person. So I said, yes, we could do it here because everybody's going to be around in my area. And then she says, can we bring in pizza or can we? And I said, no. And she says, no. I said, no, I don't want to host. I don't want anything in the house. I don't even have accommodations for everybody to sit and eat, leisurely. So I said, I don't mind booking a reservation close by at a pizza place. And she didn't like that at first.
Yeah.
And I stood my ground and it went great. We went out to pizza after. And before that, it used to be a pushover. Mom always says yes. Mom always does this. Wife does this. Mom does this. Friends do that to me. And I've never learned to say no. And
Mhm.
it's hard because I get inside, I feel like I don't want to do this. And then I
Right.
start complaining about it. And I was complaining to my husband about it. And he's like, just let peace, whatever. I'll help you. I'll do. I go, no, that's not the point. The
Mm-mm.
point is, I said no. And so I was very proud of myself. There were a couple incidents that happened along the way with my oldest daughter, and I'm learning to set boundaries, but not do it out of spite. I'm doing it for me, for
Yeah.
how I feel.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel a lot better, learning all this. I mean, I'm into this a year and a half now, so
Mhm.
it's been, I don't know how long, Jamie, how
Jamie's
long
in a
you,
yeah, and Jamie's in a different situation than you.
oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm really proud of you for doing that because that's that's that nervous system healing, and it takes time for the nervous system to heal whatever your trauma upset is. It's like you have to spend some time in survival mode, but then it's so easy to get locked in survival mode. So like that, I love a year and a half later, you can be like, hey, I don't have to do this anymore. I can shift and I'm still okay.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things that people don't tell you too is when you set boundaries, you inevitably get pushback.
Oh,
So
yeah.
people go, set boundaries, set boundaries, set boundaries, but nobody tells you be prepared for to hold your ground. Be prepared for somebody to get mad. Be prepared,
Oh yeah.
you know.
And they do, especially when you're doing something your entire life a certain way, and then all of a sudden you change. It's like they're looking like,
What?
what's wrong with you, mom? Why, what? But it's something that I resented for a very long time. And, listening to podcasts and therapy and everything, it's time that I say what I want.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you use the word resentment because that's the thing. Resentment is anger turned inward. And
Yeah.
nobody is forcing us to do anything. But it's those ideas, those expectations. Like in my book, I talk about the labels, the roles, and the scripts. We all have scripts in our head about the way life is supposed to work out, and it doesn't work out that way. And that's where that anger and frustration gets like starts, coming up. And then we turn it inward. Like and we'll go into a little more in detail about this in a second, but my trauma response trauma responses are fight. I'm gonna get pissed off and I'm gonna get in your face and I'm gonna tell you and you can't make me blah blah blah. My husband's a fighter. um
Hmm.
Flight, not dealing with it, not dealing with it. um my dad, when I was growing up, would put on earphones to listen to his music, but then he'd wander through the house totally disengaged because he had his earphones on. That's flight. I'm not dealing with any of you. I'm just do 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 do. Didn't hear ya. Didn't hear ya. Didn't hear ya. Um,
Hmm.
you know, or freeze. Freeze is literally where you're at that space where you're laying on the floor or you're staring at the wall or you're binging Netflix with or without wine and you're just dysfunctional. You're totally out. And then
Yeah.
fix or fawn is the other state. And that's that people pleasing. And that's me. That's the one that I default to. I'll make it
Yeah.
nice. Oh, I'm so sorry. Pizza. Sure. We don't have a place to sit, but I'll make that work. No, that's going to be great. That's going to be fine. I'll be happy. I'll be fine. I'll take care of
Hmm.
it. No, no, no. You come over.
Yeah.
And that's my default. Do you two know your default? I mean, we all do all of them, but I first go into fawning. I'm going to take care of everything for everyone. I'm going to make it perfect. I'm going to make it great. I'll take care of it. And then it kind of depends on the situation. But then I'll start getting pissed off that I'm being taken advantage of. And that's when that resentment starts building up. Like, I've done all this for you and you don't even appreciate it. And after all I did, blah, blah, blah. And that's that
Mhm.
resentment. And then I'll move into fight because I'm like, I did this. I cleaned the whole house and I did this and I took. And then people are like, well, you never even said that that was a problem. But we've said every Christmas. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that my girls are older now, and they know that I don't really like to entertain anymore. I don't, and I never really liked. It used to give me so much anxiety. I'd worry about the holiday and what I'm going to make, and go to the store and clean the house and this and that. And then my brothers would come over, expectations, take
Yep.
advantage, and it just would get to me. And still, she'll say, one daughter says to me, she'll still say, can you do this? But then on the other hand, she'll say, I know you don't like doing this. You don't like entertaining. So why ask me? Why does she still ask me?
Because
I
she
don't.
knows you'll do it.
That's it. That's it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Because there's a difference. Like there are things I know people don't like doing, but if I really need help, I know they'll show up for me too.
Yeah.
And that's different. You know what I mean? Like I know when I can manipulate my mom, my friends, my husband. You know what I mean? Like I know the ways that I can
Right.
manipulate that. I do. And I'm
Right.
not
Well,
proud
we
of
all
saying it, but
do.
I know that yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, those expectations, if you choose to have those, you have to do the work to get there. And you have
Hmm.
nobody to blame except yourself if you're not enjoying it.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, coming back to this question, what do you want to set down this year? I mean, we could expand this into all of 2026 too. What do you want to quit doing? How do you want to start feeling? Another thing that I realized for me is, Jamie knows this because Jamie and I grew up together. I love to play. I always laughed, I played, I did things. You know, the infidelity makes it so you just don't want to play anymore. All of this stuff that has the rolling shit show of life. You know what I mean? It's like it cuts you down, it cuts you down, it cuts you down, it cuts you down. And then pretty soon I'm not playing and I'm not laughing and I'm working and it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you stopped doing? What do you want to quit doing? I want to quit making life so hard.
Yeah, I'm working on, when you talk about nervous system, that's great because my ex, super narcissistic personality,
Oh yeah.
and everything always has made me mad since the divorce because it just got harder. He got worse, and then there's the kids going to whose house on Thanksgiving and all that crap that comes with it. So I'm trying to and that's a nervous system thing. I've held on to that for so long. We've been divorced for 14 years. Come on,
Right.
So I'm going to try using that heart hug thing. But,
Yes.
Losing Davy, I think Alan Weiss said to me, because Davy's, his dad didn't come none of that family came to the celebration of life.
I know.
And Al Weiss said, it's not on the same level. He says, but my dad just doesn't come. So he goes, we all sat down as a family and we decided we're going to invite him. And if he comes, he comes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Because, if you focus on that, you lose out on the people who are there. And so I'm just trying to work on being available for the people who are there, enjoying the people who are there, that kind of stuff. And I kind of set an expectation with Ashley. I told her, I just don't feel like cooking this year.
Yep.
So I went to Princess's house on Thanksgiving, and I'm going to my friend Jen's house on Christmas after. Ashley's always here Christmas Eve, Christmas morning.
Okay.
And she doesn't know what her boyfriend's family is doing. If they're going to do Christmas Eve, Christmas morning, they did Christmas Eve last night. I told her, I just said, okay, well, I'm going to be here Christmas Eve and Christmas morning.
Right.
And then I'm going to my friend's house because I'm not going to run the risk of at the off chance that I'm sitting at my house alone on Christmas this year. So
right. Yeah,
I guess
taking care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard to do. That's a hard one for me.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then going back to the nervous system, what do you default to? Do you default to fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? Or do you know?
I think I default to fight. And then I'll go into fawn or freeze. I mean, with all this stuff going on, since Davy died, I kind of been doing the freezing because I'll just say I feel paralyzed. I can't get anything done. I just, I don't even know what to do. Like just, so I think mostly fight though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is bad. Because then you got to come back and apologize. Eat crow.
Exactly. It's like, darn it. No,
sorry, I just lost my mind.
Exactly. Exactly. But that's part of it is when you know what your default is, it's not that it means that you don't do it, but sometimes just having that awareness, like I'll catch myself, oh, great, Laura, you're going right into your Miss Fix-It mode, aren't you? And it's just that split second stop that then sometimes can interrupt that pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then if like that, tying it together with something like the heart hug, if you can have that and just be like, okay, just stop for a second, it can really help.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jean, welcome.
Sorry, I'm late, Doctor. Sorry.
It's all good. We're just glad you're here. And we were just talking about, like, if we know what our default nervous system, like fight, flight, freeze, fawn, if we know what it is. So if you know yours, you can share it now, or I can ask Ava and then you could share afterwards.
Probably a combination of all of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the disturbing one for me is the fawning. And I'm really working on that because I feel like when I fawn, I'm giving up my like my convictions that I just set out and I roll over and I'm done with that. But
What is the fawn again?
That's the fixing it. Like, I'm going to take care of everything and you're amazing and this is perfect and I can make this work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Good.
Do you know what yours is, Ava? Are you a fighter?
I think I fight because when I'm having an argument with my husband, we'll fight, we'll want to defend each other. Each of us wants to be in defense mode, and then one of us gets really angry and then stops talking. So what is that? Like, want to walk away and avoid the other flight. So that's what it starts, fight and then flight.
Mm-hmm.
And then it takes a while for an apology, which both of us are very hard to. Lately, I've been doing better. When I realize that I'm coming and attacking, I'll say I'm sorry. And I think I mean, it's a journey. This is a big journey and it takes a lot. But that was initially what was going on at first, was fighting and then like you said, flight, taking off.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and like that, just knowing what it is, if you can have that little recognition, even if it's just a flash, oh, I'm going into it again, that can sometimes just be enough of an interrupt to not completely snowball into something.
Yeah.
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 Now, on the other side of that, like we're talking about, the whole focus of this is how to stop the performance and to move into presence, the deep joy, the embodiment, the happiness, like the authenticity of the season. So when I'm about to say this next, you might be thinking, but wait a minute, you're telling me to perform and not perform. That's not what it is. And here's what I'm going to explain. What I want you to do next is to think about who you would be at your best. Because there's so much focus on conversation about who I am at my worst. Who is the mean girl inside my head? Who is my inner critic? Who is my, you know what I mean? There's like all this focus on who we are at our worst. I'm a fighter. I'm a fawner. I'm in my nervous system, blah, 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 blah. What about the focus about who you are at your best? Who are you when all of your problems have been solved? When relationships are healthy and supportive? When finances are flowing? When your body feels healthy and your mind feels clear? Because that is the person we are aspiring to be, yet very few of us know what that person is even like or about. Because we're so focused on banishing the inner critic and doing this and doing that. So I started by asking earlier, like, how do you want to be through this season? How do you want to feel through this season? Whether this season includes 2026 or however far. And this is kind of part and parcel with that. Who would you be if life had turned out exactly as you thought it would be? Who would you be if you were raised by functional parents in a functional society? And sometimes that's a hard place to get to because you're like, well, yeah, but what? But what? I had mentioned earlier that I like playing, that I feel good when I'm laughing. And it dawned on me, I wrote about this in one of the chapters in my book too. Like, I was in that, I gotta lean in for so long that I locked into that. And that I had this moment when I was at my friend Nikki's house. And she had turned on the stove and like melted this thing all over the tortillas. And she and her husband were laughing. They're like, I guess it's going to be pizza tonight. I totally ruined the burritos. Want some plastic with your burritos? And they were laughing because the tortilla pack had melted everywhere. And I realized, like, my response would have been like, I can't believe that I did this. And who's going to go to the store? Now I have to go to the store. Blah, blah, blah. Like, when did I shift and lock into that, oh my God, this is awful mode instead of, oh, do you believe what I did? So where in your own life right now are you showing up in a way that you don't even want to be showing up? And what would it be like and how would things start flowing better if you showed up as that undamaged person, that joy-filled person? So in order to break out of this pattern, because it's a nervous system lock, our nervous systems lock into whatever it is, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. They lock into that. And we create a habit. And then even though the danger is gone, the stress is gone, the whatever, we're still there. Whether we're 4 or we're 12, or whatever combination, because usually it's, this happened when I was little, this happened in my high school years, this happened to, you know what I mean? Like it's this accumulation. To unlock that and to move into who we authentically are takes a layer of pretending. But it's pretending to be who you were. It's not pretending to be somebody different. So it's performance, yes, but it's not performance for the sake of, I am the perfect person. And it's performance for the sake of, I forgot who I was. So I have to pretend to be me for a while. Because this is how I used to be, and this is how I used to feel, and this is what I used to enjoy. And I'm not feeling the love right now, so I've got to fake it for a little bit until I make it. Because that's authentically me. Do you catch that distinction?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like putting our best foot.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's having that awareness, that full body awareness of how would I be if I wasn't facing the shit that I'm in right now.
Does everybody else's mind jump to who would I be with Fidelity? Because that's the first place my brain goes.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's me. I'm getting about every third word. I can still hear what you're saying, but your mic is a little bit funky. And I didn't know if it was like sitting on something.
Yeah, I can't hear her either.
I'm sorry. Let me switch to my laptop and I'll join back in.
And suddenly it was fine. Maybe it was just
okay,
the way
never
it was
mind.
sitting.
I'll just hold my phone. Sorry.
Okay, no, either way is fine. I just want to make sure you're heard. Yes.
Thank you.
But yeah. I mean, that's so much. Who would I be without the infidelity? Well, I wouldn't have to protect myself in different ways. I wouldn't have to feel this sense of humiliation. I wouldn't have to. And then it goes into the resentment. After all I did, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, who would you be? And it's not, it is the infidelity, but it's also more than that. It's who would I be without the gaslighting, the narcissistic abuse? You know what I mean? All the different things because it's more than that. And that's what a traumatic event, especially like at our ages, it rips the scab off of every single other wound that has been there. So it's not just, oh, I'm dealing with this one thing. It's all of the unprocessed grief from, you know, losing your parents, losing your grandparents, losing a job, disappointment over, you know what I mean? It rips all of that up. So now we have this huge chain. And then it's so easy to spiral into how awful my life is.
That's funny you say that, because when I get really, really depressed about it and get in my head, the first thing I do, it's like I know that I want my mom and my dad. My parents have been gone for 20, 30 years now. My mom's 30 years, my father's 20 years. I was young when I lost them. And I lie there on my bed crying for my mother.
Yeah.
It's because I remember her consoling me all the time, and when I was a little girl, and being there for me. And then my dad took over that when my mother passed away for 10 years, and we went through the grief of the loss of my mom together. And then with this thing, it was, I used to turn to my husband, and how can I turn to him when he did this to me? So it's like a conflict. I want to turn because I love him so much, and then I turn to him, and then sometimes I get away from him. It's really crazy in my head, because I'll be in bed and I'll be lying there, and he'll say, just hold me, and we'll hold each other. And then I'll get a thought in my head, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to bring it up. And then I push him away, and he goes, you're safe. We're here. He's trying very hard, and but it is a hard thing, because the way I was raised, I was very lucky to have, I was a fourth child, and I had older parents, and I was very lucky to have the love and the connection and being able to voice what I was feeling. And I married a man who didn't have that.
Mm-mm.
He didn't know how to communicate, but he wanted what I had so bad. So first 10 years of marriage was great. And then he started in with his nonsense. But I'm learning. Like, I listened to your last podcast on the monster. I sent you a text on it, and I had him listen to it today. And I was I mean, if I would have had him listen to this 6 months ago, he would have been defensive, but he actually said spot on. I like what Lora said there.
Good.
She knows exactly what I'm feeling. And I can't wait for you to work with him and me together. I can't wait, because he's now so receptive. I mean, he was going to do anything, but I don't think he thought he had a problem.
No.
He thought what he did was made the problem, and I was
Right.
the hurting one that he needed to fix. But he really needs to fix himself too. I've been trying to tell him that all along. Otherwise, you'll go back to doing in your head. Once things calm, that's what's the scary part.
Yeah. And I love what you said, that he didn't think he had a problem, because none of us do. And that's
Right.
just human nature. Like, none of us think we have a problem. And it's not that we all do, but also in a way, we all can only see things from our own perspective.
Right. Well, you tell yourself stories. And when you grow up in a dysfunctional family, is what I'm learning, you can, I never even knew what the word compartmentalize was.
Right.
I don't know how to do that. I didn't grow up with that. So he would tell me, well, I would just compartmentalize it. Like, I would do that, and I never loved these people, but I would do that just to get off. And then I would compartmentalize. My wife doesn't know. I'm not hurting her. And it's over. And now I can go do my thing, be my husband, be my father, do whatever. And he got away with it until he got caught. So there was something that made him act on that. And like you said, or because of his upbringing, wasn't able to discuss his feelings and be vulnerable, always shut down, you have to find a way to release, I guess.
Exactly. So that's right into who would you be if life was perfect?
Well,
Who
for
would you
me,
be, yeah, if nothing this had ever happened? And also, who would you be if you could see yourself clearly?
well, like I said, I'm learning about myself too. Like I was sheltered, and I was growing up, I was sheltered, and I was, you know, given a lot of attention because I had older parents. So I threw that on my own children. I not sheltered them, but they were my world, like my parents. Okay, so when they got to be older and married and moved off in different directions, that was very hard for me because I wanted what I couldn't have, them being close. And also I realized now, after all this, I used to get on my daughter all the time. How could you live over there when we're here? You're in a different state, blah, blah. But I realized after the infidelity, I did a great job. She's living and she's happy and she's living over there. I
And it's
see her
fine.
more than I see my local daughter. And I should feel really proud that she's a happy young lady who's made a career. All three of my kids, like I pushed that, and because I was a stay-home mom. So again, that was one thing I said. I used to worry. Your dad used to travel, and what if something happened? I had three young girls. What am I going to do? So I instilled in them, you have to go to college, you have to get a degree. Not that college is so great now with AI taking over, whatever. But so you asked my question, what have I've learned to look at? It wasn't my fault that my people choose what they want to do. I did the very best that I knew. And now I see that I did a good job. But before I would blame my husband why she left, because he was the one who kept saying, send her away to college. He wanted to send her to an Ivy League school, and she went. And it was all about, I at the time was thinking, it's all about your showing off and your pride. And you have to brag to all our friends in the family, this daughter's going to an Ivy League school. I could give two shits.
Right.
Go to the Florida school, go here where you get help with financially, and then take that extra money and use it in your life. It was a very different mindset in him, and we butt heads there. But it all works out in the end, things like this.
And like that, had you not been through that, had that argument never even been, had it all just been fine, your nervous system would be in a different place.
We're correct.
Yeah.
Like I used to sit there and say, gosh, I can only see my granddaughter, but every 2 months. And this, before all this came out, and she should move home, and how could she do this? And it's your fault. I would say to my husband, it's your fault because you sent her, but now, um, I think differently. I don't know. I think differently.
And that's what I want you to do now. If you've got paper, write this down. If not, think about it. But I want you to think about 5 qualities that you used to have or that you want to embody more of because other people in your life are that way. Those 5 qualities.
Well, I could tell you right now is independence. Independence is number 1.
Write them all down. Write them all down. And then with that too, I also want you to do a little list of maybe some of your heroines, whether it's in literature, it's in, a TV show, if it's like Oprah's amazing, even if it's just somebody that you don't really know, but you're like, dang, that neighbor down the street just always, she's just always right on. She's in such integrity. She's in such. And taking these 5 qualities, and 5 can also be a lot. And then taking that heroine or the list of heroines. I want you to see how these are all in you at a very deep, authentic level. And they've gotten buried because of fights with people, differing opinions, infidelity, betrayal, trauma, overwhelm. But these are 5 things that are in you. And when you look at that list of 5 qualities, when you look at the list of heroines, is there an archetype that can be distilled down? And but what I mean by that is when you look at this list of qualities that you admire, are these the quality of a sage, a princess, a queen, a warrior? What is the archetype from these qualities? And some of this, yes, it might just flow easily. And some of it might be like, I'm not exactly sure. Because there's a little bit of warrior energy. There's a little bit of maiden joy. There's a little bit of, like, I love the joy of the archetype, the maiden. Because she's like you mentioned, being naive and fresh. And there's some of that. But I also really love the crone, the wisdom of the crone. So when I look at my list of characteristics, it's not really, I can't say I'm totally the crone because I have elements of the maiden pulling in. But getting clear on what is that archetypal energy of the qualities that are you, that you admire, that you want, that you like, helps. And I want you to write down that archetype. And then, does she have a name? If you had a friend with all of these qualities, what might her name be? Or if you're like, nope, she's just Oprah. She's just badass Oprah. It's everything that Oprah embodies. That's what it is. And it doesn't have to be a real name. I've done this exercise a lot with people. Gypsy Cloud is the name that came up. Sunny Bronze was one that came up. I've got a list of some of them. Velvet Ember, Holly Truth, The Midnight Witness, Ember Queen, Whispered Winter, I love this, Frost and Flame, and The Silent Siren. And what we're doing here is we are creating just the same way that you would name your inner critic and say, Bethany, shut up and be quiet. We are on that high side here. We are naming our burlesque alter ego. And if you've read my book, you understand why burlesque. Burlesque is a parody. It's silly. It is poking fun of standards, society. Like when burlesque first developed, it was way back in like the Victorian, where you can't show your ankle, you can't show your wrist. And burlesque then was women like lifting up their skirts and showing their ankles and being like, ooh, I showed my ankle. It's playful. It's not stripping. Stripping is like exposing yourself. And it's leaning into the male gaze. And it's done to inspire like a weird power dynamic You know what I mean? It's this, I will entice you. And it's this pandering back and forth. Whereas burlesque, the burlesque performer is the one who is in control. And they are flirting and teasing in a way of like, I showed you my arm. Oops. I am in control of what I reveal and what I conceal. And I don't care what your reaction is. I'm doing it for me because it's fun and it's funny. And a burlesque performance, clothing is removed, never to the point of nudity. It's removed to show something underneath that could be comical. If you think about the classic burlesque performer with the boa and the gown, and she takes it off and she's in a corset. What is a corset? It is artificially constructing your body to look a certain way. So that's why it's kind of funny. Like, you think I look this way, but I really don't. It's a corset. So you're removing the layers to show what is. What is something fake. A push-up bra. Do my boobs look like this? Nope, not without the bra. So it's showing all those layers of construction. And that's what the burlesque alter ego is doing. I am aware of where I'm faking it. I'm aware of where I'm being polite. I'm aware of the fact that I want to go home and break down. I'm aware, like, it's this awareness over all the things, and I'm showing them. I'm not trying to hide it. I'm not losing control and becoming psycho or sobbing at a very inappropriate place, but I'm also not hiding that I got to get home because this party is too much for me this year. Or I'm not decorating and I'm not cooking. So your burlesque alter ego is you as you were before anything bad happened. You as you were in a functional family, in a functional society, in a functional marriage with a completely functional life. And she is the one that you can call on in the same way you might tell your inner critic, sit down and be quiet, I've got this. She is the one that you call on and that you bring in when times are tough. Not because you're pretending and performing, but because you're like, this is really who I am inside. So I'm stripping off all of these layers of BS and I'm going to be who I am. And that's really hard. Over Thanksgiving, Sean, my husband, lost somebody who was really dear to him. So he's been really emotional. And when he's really emotional, he's a dick. I mean, he just is. And it's like calling it for what it is. And there's times where I can be patient and I can be kind. And there's also times where I'm like, dude, I just don't want to come up and give you a hug after you've spoken to me that way. I'm not down for that. You know what I mean? And it's like I have this inner battle. Do I do it? Do I not do it? Da, da, da. And it's interesting. My burlesque alter ego, her name is Socrates. And I can tell some of the stories about that a little bit later. But I'll be like, what would Chakra do? And it's like, well, she would realize this is not about her. This is his dysfunction. And if Chakra knows, if she leans in and then soothes him, not in a fawning way, because fawning is my thing, but leans in an authentic way, like, I know this is really hard, and you're acting like a dick, and it's not my fault that he died, and how can we move on? If I can lean in an empowered way, he'll get over it faster, and then we're going to have a great night. Versus Lora, you can't tell me how to do that. You can't say that. I've got boundaries. I've got blah, 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 blah. And then it's going to create more tension, and then we're not going to have a good night. And then the next day, it's still going to wake up and be like, well, are we still in a fight? So how do you lean into your best self in an empowered way? Chakra can do what Lora can't. Lora gets stuck in her ever-loving ego, and Lora wants to be right. And Lora wants clear boundaries. And sometimes Lora just can't run the show. Sometimes Chakra needs to do that.
So what did you do when you became Chakra?
Well, I was a jerk for a day. I just was, because I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Everybody's here. And then when I did that, I was like, you know what? Chakra's fun and flirty. Chakra is open. And he was working in the yard, and I went out and I grabbed his butt. And I'm like, ooh, you just like to be on the ladder, don't you? So I have easier access. Well, then we started laughing, and then we started playing, and then I called him in for lunch because we had some of the leftover turkey, and it became normal. Now, it's not fawning. It's not, oh, come inside and I'm just gonna. It's not ickiness. It's, I wanted a good day. Am I going to have a good day if I'm pissy? No. Is anybody else in my household going to have a good day if I'm pissy? No. I'm not saying that we can't have a conversation later on. You know, when you're in grief, you're a dick. And here's what I don't appreciate about that. But in that moment, how would I show up if I wasn't mad at him because he was doing da 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 da? Like, if I got out of that whole story, how would I truly authentically be? I'd have some music on, I'd be dancing in the kitchen, like, I, without all of that drama, would be very different.
Did it end up okay?
It ended up okay. It really did. I mean, it took a little bit, you know what I mean? Because it was like, I had to get back into who I was. And then, you know, when I grabbed his butt on the ladder, oh, here comes Nancy. You know, then he kind of had to, it was that tentative dance a little bit, like, are we okay or are we not okay? So there was, it took a little bit, but then we got back into fun friendliness. And then it was like, hey, do you want to watch a movie? And let's talk about going to Wicked sometime this week and what's going on. And then the conversation rolled, and then he could, it set him free to act normal again. And it set me free, hi Nancy, to act normal again. Because that's the thing, we don't act normal when we're in trauma. We don't act normal when we've been hurt. And it's a big ask for anybody to say, just calm your nervous system down and totally act normal all the time. No, I want to be right, and I want to show you, and I have a boundary, and you can't speak to me that way.
Yeah, you know, if I just had a thought when yesterday, I was talking to my husband, and I went back and called him his nickname that I haven't been able to do that, and it slipped out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And I was like, and of course he wants me to call him the nickname. I don't really need to tell you the nickname.
That's okay.
But I caught, and it just slipped because at that very moment I felt me. And I thought, this feels good. This feels good. But then I felt, why did I call him that? I don't want to call him that. It's
yes, and that is ego you versus soul you. Ego you is like, I'm not ready to let this go yet. I'm not there yet. Soul you is like, yeah, this is me and this is us and this is great. And it's not only in tough emotional times like that. Last year, a year ago, January, I got hired to do a keynote, and it was the biggest keynote I had ever done. And I walked into this enormous conference room, and I was like, oh no, I cannot speak in front of this many people. I can't do it. I'm going to throw up. They hired me by mistake, like all of that. And instead of telling my inner critic to sit down and shut up, which is what we're always trained to do, like focus on the negative and cut the negative off. don't focus on the negative at all. Focus on the high end. I bring in chakra. All right, chakra, we are kicking some ass. And if we make a mistake, you know how to handle it. And they're going to love you. And if they don't, it is their loss. It's going to the high side and leaning into the high side, because there's so much of the self-development world is focused on clearing the blocks and getting rid of the negative. What we focus on, we get more of. So let's focus on the high side. This is who I am. I'm powerful. I'm strong. And that's why when we were talking about the archetypes, the archetypal energy, like I said, I've got some maiden elements. I've got some crone elements. To me, though, for me, I love embodying the queen, because a queen is going to be really strong when she needs to be strong, but she also deserves to be playful. And she is supported. Like, everybody is there to support her. So when you know the energy of who you are and how you want to be, when you've got a name to call on, chakra's coming in here. And then also, if I did that keynote, and I kicked butt, by the way, but had I failed, it wasn't Lora failing. There's that slight layer of, it was chakra. And if she fails, Laura's still protected. And the reason that I use burlesque too, like when I said it's a parody, it's not serious. When it's serious, our nervous system kicks in. If I have to get this right, then my nervous system goes, no, I'm going to fight through it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I get to play with it and just be who I am, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to perform anything. All I have to do is show up. And I'm going to show up as myself. And when I show up as myself and I can kind of play through it with a playful energy, it's not that I'm literally playing. I mean, it could be. But, you know, like with Sean and re-breaking the ice over him being a dick over the holidays, I can just show up and it's no risk. And if I went up and I grabbed his butt and he was like, leave me alone, it's not really a rejection of Lora, it's a rejection of chakra, and I'm still in my playful energy, so then I don't get that story in my head, oh my God, he rejected me, and what does that mean, and I try so hard, and every single time, and I was just doing something silly. I grabbed his butt when he was on the ladder. He, whatever. It takes the risk out of it. It takes the level of threat out of it, so my nervous system stayed calm.
So you have to tell yourself, I'm chakra now,
Totally.
or I'm Laura now, or I am the critic,
Yeah.
Laura.
Yeah, because chakra is me. You know what I mean? She is the me, the undamaged me. She is all my energy. Like, what is that time in your life where you were the most you? Who were the people that you could be around where you were the most you? Who are the people you get weird around? I got weird around my in-laws for probably 10 years. I had way too much anxiety. And there was one time early on, I was all weird around my in-laws. And we went to an aquarium, and one of my girlfriends from high school was working at the aquarium. Well, then I'm like, Mary Beth! And we're like rolling around. And my in-laws are like, who is she? And it's like, oh, I slipped back into being myself instead of the weird Lora around her in-laws.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I can feel myself shifting too in certain circumstances. I never really noticed that. Thanks for pointing that out.
You're welcome. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So naming her gives you an anchor to go back to. Because in order, like we talked earlier, it's all about habits. We have fallen into the habit of being in an activated nervous system. We have fallen into the habit of being shit upon, of having our boundaries roll over, of like whatever that negative habit. So how to create the new habit, we have to have an internal anchor and an external anchor. So the external anchor can be naming her. My external anchor is Chakra, and I know who she is, and I know what she looks like, and I can create an image of her. And I know her archetype, and I know her power. And I've been her before many times. I was her as a kid playing. Whenever I was on a horse, I was her. Whenever I was dancing, I was her. When I was with my close friends, I was her. So I know who she is. I just abandon her when my nervous system gets activated.
So we have all these parts of us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want you to do next. This is, again, it's an activity that's in my book, The Chakra Walk. And it's about knowing those two selves. And yes, there's more parts of us. But basically, it's wounded us and healthy, whole, complete us. And this is an exercise in polarity. Because if we know what it feels like to be in one energy and we know what it feels like to be in the other energy, then it's easier to start assessing along the way where we're at and where I can slide into. Okay? Now, I'm standing. If you want to stand, you can stand. If you want to do this seated, you can totally do this seated too. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter what you look like. If you're like, well, I'm standing up, but the camera's here. Doesn't matter. We're going to go through 7 different polarities. And all I want you to do on those 7 different polarities is embody both of the extremes so you can know where it is. We talked about the external anchor. That's your burlesque alter ego. That's your name. That's whoever. But this is this internal anchor. Okay? The root chakra is the polarity from panic to safety. I'm going to die. A truck is barreling down on me right now. To safety, I'm cocooned in my nice little whatever it is. Okay? So I want you to feel that energy of panic. And I want you to really feel it. Like, where does panic hit? A lot of times panic hits at the back of the neck because that's where an animal, would grab you. So that's where that prickly panic. And feel what your body does when you're in panic. Oh God, D-Day. Oh God, bad news.
Oh my God.
Feel it? My arms
Yes.
get tingly. Yeah. So
My shoulders.
yeah.
My shoulders just.
Yeah. Like we feel that. So when you know what that feels like, this will help you sometimes when you're like, I don't know what's wrong with me, but this is what my body does when I'm in panic. Clearly I'm feeling threatened and I don't really know why. Now, move, let that go, and move into a sense of safety. And we all feel it differently, but to me, safety, I feel really soft in my gut. Yeah. And anchor that into your body. The next set of polarities is sacral, and that's contraction to desire. And that's what FLAUNT is based on. Like when we're hurt, when things go wrong, we constrict. And when things are going right, yay, we flaunt, we're open. So the constriction, the contraction, that sacral, there is no joy in my life. There is no pleasure. It is work. And I really locked into this. There's always laundry. There's always house cleaning. There's always something to do. I didn't work out today. I fed my kids hot dogs. You know what I mean? Like this, gotta do this. Life is a hard trudge to the top of the mountain and I gotta do it. Feel that. And then letting that go and expanding. and moving into desire. Like, I get to flow and I get to dance and I get to have delicious food and I get to laugh and I get to want. And even more than just want, I get to expect. Like, I expect amazing things will manifest in my life. And that's that highest level of desire. I expect friends. I expect connection. I expect good sex. I expect, like, whatever it is, I expect it. And feel the energy of that pure desire. Look at all of your faces. The third is the solar plexus region, and that is from total collapse to power. Like, I have no rights, I have no voice, I literally am locked in this cell, I have nothing, all the way to I have all the power. Not power over, but I can create, I can be, I can do. So moving into that, no power. No try, no power. I don't affect my life. Life affects me. To me, I always feel like this draining down my back. Like, ugh, hopeless. Why bother? Hopeless. Moving that out and moving into that place of power. I can do things differently. I can create. I can make decisions. I can set boundaries. I can remove my body from situations that I don't like. That's a big one. Like, how often do we just get stuck and they're like, I hate this family, or I hate these people. Move your body out of the house. And the first time I left a restaurant, it felt so weird. But I was just like, I'm not enjoying this conversation. And I'm like, I'm going to be gracious and I'm going to be kind. And I'm also not going to lie. I'm not really feeling the love. Thank you so much. I'll catch you next time. Here's my money for the meal. I'm out of here. The end. That felt so powerful. Nobody cared. In my head, they cared. In reality, they're like, oh, okay, great. Leave the room. You can. The fourth is the heart. And we started off today with a heart hug. For those of you who are late, go back. That's a really good one. That's from Armored. You can't hurt me. I am not going to do this. We're not getting close. Going to piss me off. Defensive. I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm here, but I'm waiting. Is that a barb? Is that an arrow? And let that go and move into softness. Kittens. Puppies. The heart we keep closed a lot because we don't like to get hurt. Doing that instantly puts you back there. I showed you the heart hug, that does it, but make the noise, make the noise. It brings some vibration here. And if you're having a hard time releasing to let the noise come out, that says something too. And sometimes it'll unlock tears. You'll be like, I'm going to get into my heart. And that's okay because you've made that access point between the voice and the heart. And that's that next point we're moving up to, the throat, and that's silence to truth. And again, there's a difference between, I'm just not going to participate in this conversation because we have radically different beliefs, and that's okay. It's just not worth it. You know what I mean? Taking, like I mentioned, my in-laws, taking some things on with them, it's not worth it. I don't even care enough. It's not that I have to go tell them all of these things. Like, my mother-in-law was horrifically abusive. Horrifically abusive. Does she need to hear that from me? How mad I am, how angry. She doesn't need to hear that. I don't need to say that. It's not my place. I don't even care. So it's not that I am silencing my voice. I'm silencing my voice because I'm choosing to. Because it doesn't matter. Versus silencing my voice when it really matters because I'm in this job. We're in this relationship. This really matters. So think about the ways that you silence your voice and feel that constriction when you're salivating, you're biting your tongue, and you're like, I want to speak so bad because you're standing on my foot. Because you just said something that was so offensive to me personally. And I'm getting angry, or I'm getting hurt, or I'm getting every single time. Like when I'm silencing it, feel that. Now move to the energy of truth. Not to tell you how wrong you are. Well, that's not how I see it. And as a matter of fact, and did you know? And then there's this statistic over here. And then if you did that, you know what I mean? But just my truth. That doesn't bother me. I feel strongly about that. And feel how good it feels to speak truth. One of my best friends growing up was Mormon. She's not anymore, but she was Mormon. And I was not. And we had some very different beliefs. And yet, we never fought. She shared all this stuff about her church. I shared all this stuff about, wow, really? From that place of curiosity, she's like, this is my truth, that if I don't wear the garments, blah, blah, blah. And it'd be like, that is so interesting. I so don't understand why God would care about the garments, but tell me more. You know what I mean? Because it was, I dropped that. Because it was curious and it was open and we were in truth and in love. I'm not judging her. Well, that's stupid. She was safe to tell me because, wow, that's interesting. So I can speak my truth. That makes no sense to me. Huh. Never knew that was a thing, really? And she could speak her truth. It's so important to me, and here's why. Wow. So how does it feel to speak your truth and to not be judged, to not be criticized, to not be shamed? What would politics be like right now if nobody judged or criticized or shamed somebody with a different view, but they could be like, wow, huh, I don't see it that way. This is what I think. Huh, really? That's interesting. Cool. Do you want ice cream? I'm going to grab my sheet because I dropped it. Okay. So the very next one is confusion to clarity. How does your body feel when you're confused? What do you do when you're confused? I do this. Be confused. Feel what it's like to be super confused. I don't know to stay, to go, to leave. Okay. Yeah. Shake that off. How do you feel when you are so clear? I know who I am. I know what my strengths are. I know where I need to be. I know I can see those next 10 steps. Embody that. Like, my head feels so open and I feel so uplifted. So this is the trick. This is why we're doing all of these things. When you're confused, you know what it's like to be in clarity. Put yourself in clarity. When you're feeling silenced, you know how it feels to speak your truth. Put yourself there. Very last one, and this is a big one, the crown. Connection and disconnection. What we all want, what every single human wants, is connection and belonging. How do you feel when you have no connection and belonging? It drains
Alone.
everything. Yeah. Alone. What does your body do? You're defensive or you're needy. What does your body do? Put your body in that disconnected state. My mind starts spinning. I start looking down. Everybody hates me. Everybody, this is stupid. Da, 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 da. Now shift. Where were you the most connected in your life? How does it feel to be loved, to be held, to be cherished, to be supported? What does your body do? I get broad. I get open. I get lifted. I get smiley. So look at each other from this place of connection and clarity. I'm going to go through all of them. Connection, clarity, truth, softness, power, desire, and safety. Your burlesque alter ego lives in all these states. So put your body in this state. When your mind can't get in this state, put your body in this state and your mind will follow suit. This is that internal. When I said the habit changes, habits change when you can get them internally and externally. This is that internal state. Inside, my mind might still be questioning me. I still might be hurt, but I know how to find that internal state. Then I call upon chakra, that external caricature, and here I am. I'm showing up. And then look at me in this state. Do you expect a positive outcome from meeting somebody in this state? Yes. Versus, and I'm going to do this, but I don't want you to do it, panic, constriction, collapse, silence, truth, confusion, and disconnection. And Lora damn well wants to be right. And it's going to get pissed off. And then, yeah, I'll do the dishes. No worries. I got it. Don't worry. What is your response to somebody with this energy? Do you expect a positive outcome? Do you like me? No. So what do you get more of? I'm just going to tell that inner critic of mine to shut up. Just go away. Just go away. Got to get over these blocks. Why is this not working? Shaking that off. External chakra. This is who she is. Internal, what is my state? Now I'm going to get more of this. And even if I'm alone by myself, because everybody else is gone or whatever, I feel better like this. We talk about the magic of the season and how we work so dang hard creating this magical season for everybody else, and then we're exhausted. This is about feeling the magic that we're working so hard to create. Creating the magic does not happen because of what you cook or what you wear or what your house looks like or if the gift wrapping is all coordinated. Creating the magic of the season starts with, I'm feeling so magical right now. I'm just looking out my window. I went to the store and there was sparkly, little decorations everywhere and the Christmas music. Or I just took a hike or a walk around my block and I heard birds. This is true. I was going to the gym this morning and it's cold, but I'm like, I'm hearing birds. I'm like, it's so magical. I hear birds. It's a freaking bird. But I'm tuned into the magic of, look at this day. Because I worked in my basement cleaning out all weekend. So I was in this compressed and I'm like, yay, there's birds and there's people. I'm waving at people across the parking lot. Hi! Because I'm feeling the magic because I'm choosing to feel the magic. Not because I looked great in my workout pants or, you know what I mean? I didn't.
Yeah.
I ate a lot at Thanksgiving. It was because I was feeling it. So, how do you create the most magical holiday season? By feeling it. How do you heal? How do you move through trauma? By feeling it. Not that it's about controlling other people, ever, because the only people we can control is ourselves. But again, am I going to inspire a more positive reaction with you if I'm like this? Hi, do you hear the birds? Or whatever is authentic for you. That's me. You might not be. You know what I mean? But if you're fully within you and you're comfortable with you versus, dang, it's early. So that goes all the way back to the beginning. How do you want to feel this season? How do you want to feel in 2026? What are those characteristics? What do you want to embody? What's the archetype around that? And what is her name? And how can you call on her externally to step into that when you can't do it yourself? And then how do you create? You did it. You all did it. How do you create it in your body internally? What I want to do next is I want to lead you through a short hypnotic meditation to anchor that in. Because again, habit creation is putting more things on one side than the other. So when you have more stress, more drama, more trauma, more blah, 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 bad habits going over here, that side's going to win. Versus when you've got the external anchor, chakra's going to do it, the internal sensation, woohoo, and then you've got a subconscious anchor, and I'm going to give you an anchor to do that, that'll help anchor you into being who you are. Okay? So get comfortable. If you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. If you just want to look down, you can look down. And just move your attention towards your breath. And just like what happened during the heart hug at the very beginning of the session, all you're doing is paying attention to when your breath changes. Because at some point, your breath is going to change. And it's not that you have done anything. It's just that suddenly your breath needs to lengthen or even stop. And it might have already happened, and it might take 5 whole minutes for it to happen, and it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you are noticing and waiting. From this relaxed space, I want you to think about what scripts you were performing. What scripts you were performing. Are you the aggrieved wife? Are you the victimized party? What role are you playing? Are you the one who is overlooked? Spend a couple of minutes just thinking about that script that you were performing. And then instantly, as it becomes clear, I want you to see the humor in what you're doing, because it is funny. And I want you to move into who you really are. I am a joyful being. I am a pampered princess. I am a wise sage. I am the queen of my life. Who are you undamaged? Who are you with nothing to prove, nothing to heal? Who are you when all of your problems have been solved? As you breathe into that energy, let it start filling you up on a cellular level, deep within your belly, in your bones, deep within your brain. Go all the way into that gray matter, into the folds of your brain. And let this knowingness, let this memory fill you up. I want you to imagine, visualize, pretend, whatever is easiest for you, that there is this ball of light about 3 to 5 feet above your head. And it can be any color, it can be any shape, it can be twirling, it can be shimmering, it can just be solid, it doesn't matter. But this ball of light above your head is you, your essence, your soul, your higher self, whatever you want to call it. This is you. This is you pure, unencumbered. This is the part of you that is not living out this story here on earth, but that is divine source energy. However you want to think of this light, it's you. You pure and free. What is your kind of happiness, safety, desire, self-directed power that is also soft, clear, and connected with your truth? Breathe and just let that essence become you. As you let that essence fill you, I want you to physically do a gesture. Keeping your eyes closed, do a gesture. It can be touching your throat. It can be touching your fingers together. It can be holding your own hand. It can be reaching across and giving yourself a hug. Do a physical gesture This gesture anchors your soul into your humanity. It anchors your soul into your body. It allows that pure essence to fill your personality, to fill your ego, to fill your body, to fill your life. Breathe. And you can press into that gesture a little bit more, reminding you, this is who I am. This is who I am. I get to be me no matter what has happened. I get to be me no matter what anybody else does or doesn't do. I get to be me. I don't have to prove that somebody else hurt me or that somebody else irritated me by acting different. I get to be me. I get to feel me. Let that color, that quality continue to fill you up from the toes and the tips of the fingers all the way up through the feet and the hands and the shins and the forearms, all the way up the thighs, the biceps. The shoulders, the hips, the belly, and back. Fill yourself up with yourself through the shoulders, the neck, the throat and jaw, the cheeks and lips, the nose, the eyes, the forehead. Fill yourself up so completely that the essence of you pours out through your hair, sliding out of your scalp, down your hair, through the ends of your hair. Fill yourself up so completely with the essence of you that it even comes out the pores in your body. You are true to you. First and foremost, you are true to you. Put one hand on your low belly. Put one hand on your heart. And breathe. The fullness of you, your personality, your joy. And each and every day going forward, allow yourself to stay deeply and completely filled up with you. Silently repeat to yourself, other people's behaviors don't impact me. Other people's judgments don't impact me. Other people's beliefs don't impact me. And from this point forward, I am wholly myself. I can speak my truth. I can set boundaries. I can remove myself. But I will never again allow anybody else to change me. I will never allow anybody else to change me. Let any sensations come up in your body, in your mind. Let them flow through you and out of you, fully anchoring into who you are. People can treat me poorly, people can treat me well, and I am still me. I don't ever have to change the way I feel inside. From this point forward, I simply speak, create a boundary, walk away. I do what I need to do to take care of me, but I show up as me. If you have created a name, affirm for yourself, I am that name. Breathe. And then slowly, when you're ready, blink your eyes open and move your body internally as your energy emanates, your energy creates. And I kid you not, you start looking different when you allow your energy to create your body. How you doing?
Ready to take a nap.
Yeah. So here are my questions. Do you know who you are? Because it's so common to forget. Do you know who you are?
Working on it.
Yeah.
That brought up, I was just having a nightmarish remembrance bombarding me during that. Just lots of people, lots of things, lots of situations, and me just shriveling up and just hiding.
Yes. Yes. Me too. I think you all know my judge story if you listen to my TEDx. I shriveled in front of the judge. I shriveled in front of my in-laws. I shrivel in you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I can look back at all of those times and it's like, that's not me. Lora can be afraid and insecure, but Chakra's got this. So, the second question that I started with, how do you want to feel? And I'd love it if you could put that into words, even if the words are like, I don't exactly know, but this is kind of what I'm wanting to feel. Because, yeah, Nancy.
I just want to feel light and happy, and that young girl who was just enthusiastic about everything and just wanted to grab the world by just do what they told me I couldn't do, and just not the bull in a china shop, but just not be told I'm a girl or in this or that, or I'm lots of things that I was told that made me, like I said, just crawl into. I'm just picturing a little vial that my whole essence is just in this little itty bitty bottle, and that's not me.
No, no. I love that. Keep the archetype around that. Have you named her yet?
I'm thinking of Connie because that was a character I played in one of my favorite plays that I was in.
I love that. I love that. When you decide for sure or give her a last name, email me, okay? I know, pressure's on. All right, everybody else, how do you want to feel and what is her name?
I'm going between Queen Ava and Dancing Queen Ava.
Ah, I love it.
I always used to sing songs when I'm doing stuff with my kids, my grandkids, my husband, but always singing and laughing and joking. And so I think if I think of myself dancing Queen Ava, I can be singing in my head and dancing it and feeling that joy. And I just want to feel happy and alive and not victimized anymore. I want to feel free. I don't want to feel like when you had us go back, I felt like I am a victim wife and a victim mom.
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel that anymore. I want to feel normalcy
queen.
around I want to feel normalcy around my kids, my grandkid, my husband. I want to feel normal.
Yeah. Good.
That's what I want to feel.
I love that. Thank you.
Mhm.
Who's next?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
I want to feel light and free and confident.
Yeah. And do you want to share about some of your tears?
Oh, I was hoping you didn't see that.
No, it's good
Yeah,
to see that.
Yeah, just kind of feeling my soul and seeing how I've compromised that in so many different ways
Oh, yeah.
and felt ashamed and felt, oh, I'm too weird. I shouldn't be that way, or trying to be like this really righteous person. And there's nothing wrong with that, but, stifling that creativity and that joy that I know that God wants us to feel that too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I appreciate that you said that, because in my Sanctuary of the Soul group last month, I think it was November, we were all talking about kind of like the humility versus the arrogance, and how sometimes, and I'm not saying that, oh, you must be arrogant. That's not at all what I'm saying, but like how sometimes finding that gamut, how we can have pride in ourselves without being arrogant, and how, you know what I mean? Like the judgment of others, how to really release that. And then when we feel insecure, then we start judging other people. And like it just gets into that naughty spiral. And it's so hard. And it's like, how can we still have that pride, but not be arrogant? And then same thing, like with the infidelity, it's hard to not put ourselves in a morally superior position. And we're all souls. We're all spirits. Like, we're all equal. It's hard. It's just hard. So I love that you mentioned that, because living, like you said, confident, clear, free from all that judgment is so, it feels so good to not have any judgment.
Yeah.
And it sneaks in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I cried too. You're not the only one.
Good.
Good.
But mine was, I don't remember what you're talking about, but it was one of my issues is feeling safe. And I went back to like, not being heard. Of course, in childhood, that's my mom, not being heard, being suppressed. And then where did I find the safety? That was with my dad. So I was crying because I was feeling that safety. So, and then when Davy died, I physically, like my heart physically hurt for a couple months. Like I could just feel my heart hurting. So my person's name is the nickname that my dad gave me. Skeeter Newhart.
I love that. That's going to make me cry. I love that.
Yeah.
So
The Skeeter, I'm going to let Skeeter know.
Yeah. Yeah, because Skeeter can do anything. Yeah. I love that. And Jean, I forgot to ask you, did you have a name?
I think it might be Queen Jean, but I need to do some more research on the archetypes.
Yeah.
But I like Queen Jean. They used to call me that when I was a kid. I just like the regalness, the confidence.
Yeah.
But I need to study more archetype stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah. And like that, showing up as Skeeter, Connie, Queen, all of these things, dancing Queen. How does that just change the way you show up? Like just your presence. If you're going to introduce yourself and like, hey, I'm Skeeter Queen Dancing Connie. You know what I mean? Like it's different than hi, I'm Lora. So whether you practice it when you're at the grocery store, not actually saying it, but thinking like, hi, I'm, and just feel how it all changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see those people out in the world and there's just some magical quality about them. And you're so right. It's their energy they're projecting and people pick up on that. And I think those are the magical, charismatic people that really go places.
Yeah. Yeah. You're so right on with that.
Okay. And on the opposite end of that, we call the affair partner the outsider. And so thinking a little bit about her energy and what she projects is just ugliness and terrible. And she is that defensive victim. Like I can see the very opposite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not pretty, not what I want to be.
Yeah. And I love that you brought that in because that can be like I can honor that is your energy. That's you. Mm-hmm. And this is me and I'm not you and you're not me.
No.
Yeah. And I love that you said that because they're different bubbles, and then we just let it go and it's fine.
I need to get to that point.
You will. You will. And that's, like that from performance to presence. Okay, you don't have to pretend, but you know where you're going to, and that is that deep embodied presence that I truly don't care. Because I don't let anybody else's behaviors or choices impact me.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for spending a couple hours with me. I loved it. I'm going to send out the replay. Share your names with me once you completely design them. Have fun with it.
Thank you, Lora.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. And I will see you all soon. Email if you've got questions.
Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome.
Thanks for letting me join late.
Oh, anytime.
Me too.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Bye.
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 Bye.